Okay, we're going to take a look at Coach Karen's motion right here. You're going to see she starts with her weight back, she leans into her pitch, and she has long arms, so she tends to let that do a lot of the pitching with a very good flip right at the end. You'll see that her hand ends up way up by her head with a bent arm, but she really leans back also, and she clears her hips very well. Okay, when Coach Mike is pitching, there's a lot of use of the legs here. You're going to see a lot of leg drive here, more than just about anybody else. That's where he's gaining lots of his power. Now, there's still a good lean back there, good rock creating torque, but lots of things being thrown out in front, good distance traveled off the pitching mound with a good flip at the end. So if we take a look at Lauren's motion here, she has a pretty good lean, and she definitely gets a lot of arm speed. The things that we're going to want to take a look at is the foul through and the flip at the end. She tends to have a straight arm right here, a little bit more of a bowling motion like most of the girls. So you want to try getting a good flip at the end, good bend at the elbow, good flip at the wrist. The leg drive is quite good. It's not a very high leg drive, but again, Coach Karen and Lauren are very similar in this fashion. Long arms, long legs, so you tend to let the arm do a lot of the work, but always trying to work with the legs, trying to get them a little bit stronger. So as much as you can, you want to get flipped now with the wrist and with the elbow at the end, and also just always keep working on the balance and the leaning into your pitch. Okay, we're going to take a look at Gabby now. Now this is a very solid motion, lots of good things going on here. What we're going to try to do is create a little bit more torque at the beginning. We don't want to just be lifting the ball right there. We want to be accelerating from the beginning all the way to the end. So trying to increase the pitching motion as far as energy. So it's a short stride, so we want to get a little bit stronger off the mound there, so our back leg kicks a little bit more, we land a little stronger. But overall, very good. Just need to increase the range and the energy. Okay, we're going to take a look at Kiana's motion here now. Very quick, very simple motion, which is great to have. What we want to try to do is increase our arm swing going up. Instead of just lifting the ball, we want to drive it over our head and then drive it down. Watch out for 50-50 weight, which again is going to be very popular. We want to drive off that mound with our legs and have a little kick at the end. And also watch out for a straight arm finish. We want to have more of a bend at the elbow and a flip of the wrist. Okay, we're looking at Shiloh now. She has the modified takeaway. She just breaks straight to the X position. We're going to want to take that around though and increase the arm swing to increase some speed. And also we're going to want to increase the legs also. Instead of just stepping and landing about 50-50, we want to drive off the mound a little bit more. Now she has a very good flip at the end. She bends at the elbow, bends at the wrist. It's a very good flip that she has there. So all we want to try doing is increasing the beginning of the motion, taking the ball in front of us. The glove is pointing towards its target, but increasing the energy of the legs and the arms is going to be more effective. Now Samantha is keeping her weight back, and she's creating some torque. We just want to start with that ball on the other side though. Instead of on our left hip, we want to start it on our right hip. Very good lean into your pitch, but we need to use the legs more. Instead of just stepping to our target, we want to drive towards our target. The other thing we want to try to do here, if we can, is we want to try to finish higher and further. So you get a little bit of an elbow bend there, but there's still kind of a bowling motion. We want to get a stronger flip if we can. So overall, good motion. We just want to increase the range of the motion, the takeaway side, driving towards our target, and a higher flip at the end. Now with Olivia's motion in this first pitch, the ball tends to hide behind your hip a little bit. You're going to need to lean a little bit more, clear those hips so your arm has a better chance to get on line with your target. Now you're very vertical, which is fine, but we want to make sure that we increase our arm speed and we get more weight driving forward. You have a 50-50 weight type of motion, so if we can drive forward and not cut across our pitch as much, try to lean, clear our hips, we're going to have a little bit more success with both accuracy and speed. Now here's Alice's motion, very much like Lauren's. Straight arms, straight legs, lots of good things going on here, easy to control, probably some very good accuracy right in here. But what we want to work on is trying to get more strength in the legs, trying to create a little bit more torque at the beginning instead of just lifting the ball, driving off the mound with our legs. This is going to increase our arm circle with a little bit more pop into it. And then the flip at the end. We're trying to have a flip with the wrist and the elbow, so we're finishing a little bit higher, not so much straight legs and straight arms. So if we can get a little stronger off the mound, release that back foot, drive off, get our body out in front, this is going to help with the entire motion. Now Madison has a very good takeaway, creating torque, which is really helping propel that arm forward, which looks great. But we want to do two major things. We need to get to a better X position. Right now we're still very wide open. We need to turn sideways at the top, and then we need to drive off that mound a little bit more. The back foot is still hanging and dragging a little bit. The arm speed is very good, but we need to add the legs, get a little bit more open at the X position, and then also the follow through. It's nice and high, but we want to have more flip in our elbow and our wrist, not so much bowling. Now Brooke, just like Madison, creates lots of torque by taking that arm back and creating lots of arm speed. Now what we want to do is take our glove with our ball forward a little bit more instead of just letting it hang down there. So we have a walk-through motion here, which is fine, but we are going to want to drive off that mound a little bit more, really trying to get our whole body out in front. Now right now at the X position, you tend to still be a little bit closed. Your shoulders are still pointing a little bit too much at the catcher, so we're going to want to get those opened up a little bit more so they're on line with our target. Overall, very good. Nice recoil right here. We would like to get a little bit further follow through if we can, a little bit more bend in the elbow and the wrist, but very good motion. Now Lila's motion very much like Brooke and Madison again in these respects. Very good takeaway, creating some torque, but we're not quite getting to the full X position. We still have our shoulders pointing a little bit too much at our catcher. We want to drive off the mound a little bit more right here. We have a walk-through motion. Both the arms and the legs go forward, which is great, but we want to finish a little bit stronger. Get out on that front leg and try to have a little bit more of a flip at the end with both our wrist and our elbow. So if we can get a better weight transfer and an X position at the top, I think we're going to have a little bit more success, but overall, very good motion. Now looking at our catchers, some of the things that we're going to want to do here with Ashlyn is try to get a wider base, trying to get the feet a little bit wider and anchor to the ground a little bit more. Now your throwing arm should not be behind your back, it should be protected behind your leg. So we'll be working on that. But your balance right here, even though it looks pretty good, it almost looks like I could come over there and just push you over. So a wider base and a more athletic stance is going to help. We don't want to jab at the ball when we catch it. We want to try to let that ball get into our glove and grab it, but we don't want to reach out for it. So we're going to be working on a lower target, more of a bent back, and better overall balance. Now Skylar has a nice strong base here, grounded, but what we want to try doing is leaning forward a little bit more. We're also going to want to stagger our knees, our legs a little bit more so we can reach the backhand a little bit better. And also we want to get a lower target, bend the back, and look over the glove a little bit more. The high target tends to keep us very upright. So what we want to do is lean into our pitch a little bit more, get more of an athletic stance by staggering our feet. Overall, things look good. Also, our throwing arm, we want to put it more behind our right knee or our right leg. Hide it back there instead of putting it behind your back. You'll be in a more athletic position. Now Catherine here has a very good stance. She's leaning a little bit forward, which is nice, but we're a little bit on the toes. We want to try getting a little bit wider base and stagger the feet a little bit if we can. Now also we want to make sure that we're not catching and cradling the ball. We want to catch it a little bit stronger and make sure our throwing arm is not behind our back. It's more behind our knee or behind our throwing side foot. Now what we want to try doing is just getting a little more athletic. Start with a lower target, trying to lean forward a little bit more. Overall, this is very good, but a wider base, a little bit more of an athletic stance is going to help you in the long run. Now, Mackenzie's more flexible than all of us. She can tend to sit back a little bit more, but what we want to try doing is trying to lean forward a little bit more. In the long run, this is going to help when we start to talk about blocking a little bit. So we just don't want to be sitting back too much. Also, try to make sure your glove isn't too sideways. We're going to want to get that a little bit more vertical and try to make sure that elbow isn't sticking out. It's sticking down a little bit more. This will help when we start to lean forward a little bit more. Overall, very good. The balance is good, nice wide stance, but we're going to want to get the whole weight just a little bit more forward and try to get that glove into a better position.